First subject. First subject.
The
Boycott.
trans mafia. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna start off strong. The boycott is working, at
Mhm.
least to an extent. And yeah, apparently the executive, the VP, whatever, the vice president of marketing has decided to take her leave. Not permanently. I don't think she's
Mm.
been fired or she hasn't quit, but she has completely disappeared off the face of the internet. And I was telling the guys earlier in chat before we started the live stream, I'd almost guarantee at this point that she's gonna take her leave, be gone for probably a month, come back and do some sort of like victim press tour about how the internet attacked her, and she's basically a survivor now. So what do you guys think of this whole VP
The
leaving
Brie
controversy?
Larson of beer, ladies
I
and
think
gentlemen.
you ain't lying.
It
Yeah,
could
but
be it could be very well a strategy. Like this was planned out just from the beginning to execute it like exactly like this. Like in case it would have, kind of bombed in the way it did, they already kind of planned, all right, she takes a leap of ass and she comes back with a victimhood story. We kind of market that and how the backlash, but she also experienced some enforcing moments and some support from corners she never thought people would actually show up. And that was so important to her. That was all written already.
True.
That you put that together perfectly. That's exactly the template for these kind of like I'm a survivor type stories. Good job.
Yeah.
hey, look. At least, if anything, if she ever needs a tampon, Dylan Mulvaney will be right there to give it to her. As he said many times on social
Yeah, because
media.
he can't use them, so he's got plenty.
Yeah, it's dude. That is like that's so.
Well, two
fucking
things
creepy.
before we keep going. Cassie, you want to do a quick intro?
Yo, hi guys, Cult Classic Cage here. Don't want to be disruptive, obviously, but it's good to be here as always, man.
Perfect, short and simple. I like it. And shout out to Ice Kangs 817, $30 super chat, man. Thank you so much. Says keep up the grind, Hypnotic. Greetings to all the panel. Let's have a fun, enjoyable time tonight. I agree.
Sure.
Smash that like button, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you
Or you
Jonathan
can answer the
Major's
poll.
cousin?
If you don't want to smash the like button, the least you can do is tell me no in the poll. I would appreciate it. Thank you. All right, let's continue. So go ahead. What were you saying? What were you saying about the who was talking?
I don't know.
He usually talks.
I got a lot to say about it, but
Let's go. Let it rip. Let it rip. Let it rip.
Well,
Within reason, though. No N words. All right. Come on. Let's go.
okay. So yeah. So
But he's black
one of the
Hypno.
things I
Isn't that
made-
racist that he can't use the word?
I made a parallel.
I mean,
always
yes, but
talk-
YouTube doesn't care. Sorry, Atreus, I keep cutting you.
Yeah, I made a connection between this and the Frost situation because one of my takes on that was that when you have a whole bunch of beta males in the industry, part of protecting women is not allowing them to do stupid shit. All right. And part of the stupid shit that they allowed this woman to do was this Dylan Mulvaney situation. You had to know. And it casts doubt on me when it comes to this woke agenda. It's like, is there really an agenda or is there really just a bunch of morons working for these corporations? Because there's no way that you have an agenda for the woke stuff. This happens and you start panicking like this and you like send her on administrative leave and you're acting as though you didn't know this would happen. I thought they would just stand pat and just wait for all of this to blow over, but they didn't. And so I just think that I don't think that these companies have like a one mind thing anymore. I think it's kind of like a bunch of different people from different backgrounds throwing shit at the wall and trying to cover each other's tracks. Because if there was honestly like one agenda, then why not just stand your ground and just take the hits as it comes?
Because that's the agenda. These people are not meant to stay there for a while. They're just meant to kind of, disrupt the ecosystem with their absurd ideas, and then, of course, get fired again immediately, so they can't be, too much prosecuted, and there won't be any questions about who brought them there in the first place. Because if you look at all these VPs of marketing and all these new people showing up with their great ideas, it's always the same CV. It's always the same bio. They're all very kind of young in the first place. Most of the times they've been put there by some mentors, and they're all coming from the same blacksmith, if you want to call it so, from the same academy, and they were all placed in those different places just to do that, disrupt, create that controversy, disappear.
Right. Also, to answer to Atreus, there is there is an agenda because here's the thing. I think what happened is too, like Bud Light. First of all, the agenda comes already from the ESG. You know what I mean? Like the DEI, right? So okay, so like Coach said, like when you look, it's like she was young, so she went that route with it, right? But it's always going to be like a woman, a black woman doing this, or a young white liberal woman doing this, or a gay black man. But anyway, but then Bud Light probably, or Anheuser-Busch probably thought like, they can't keep up with anything anyway. Like we could just do, because this is happening over and over and over again, but you've never seen this kind of like protest to it immediately like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't keep up though, for real. They got us on a ticker tape with destroying everything, right? So it's hard to keep up. But this one, it locked on. It locked on organically, beautifully. Like even though, Charlie Kirk and Matt Walsh said something, but that didn't mean that it had to lock on. But it locked on to the point where even people who weren't paying attention to politics, the Corbin was saying on his channel, they were at the pub like, "Oh my God, you drink that beer?" Like, like,
no one likes Bud Light anyway. I mean, for real.
I wish that I could do that in my community, but the truth is, man, niggas ain't drinking Bud Light, man.
Yeah, I mean, like realistically, their brand appeals to like poor
like
white
piss.
people, and their entire brand, appeals to poor white people, and they ain't trying to hear about some dude that's pretending to be a girl to have their 5 fucking minutes of fame. Like that's really what it boils down to with this guy. He has no interest in. I can at least respect the individuals that truly transition, that are actually gender dysphoric, because there are people like that. It is in a mental issue amongst like people that are truly trans, but this is like it's treated as a trend now. It's not. It's not treated.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's all it really is, sadly. And the people that truly do suffer from this, they're actually trying to find a means of living with themselves. Do I necessarily agree with it? Not particularly. I feel like you as a human being have to learn to accept yourself with all your faults, all the things you don't necessarily like. That's a part of transitioning into adulthood, So like in that sense, at least, people that are truly dysphoric, I feel bad for them, like they are dealing with something that is
Bud Light is the right therapy, right? So it's not a way of representing people that have like serious issues with their identities, like, oh, drink Bud Light, it's gonna be better. Look at her. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
I mean, is it really you thinking as a company that you are really supporting another human being by putting a trans face on a can of beer that tastes cheap?
And that's not even to like talk about the social stigma, because I'm sorry to tell you this. This is the truth. Okay, every straight man out there that used to drink that terrible piss tasting Bud Light, and now that they saw the whole controversy with Dylan Mulvaney, just in order to avoid of not being called gay, they'll fucking burn that shit down or throw it away. They'll do whatever because they don't want to be associated with that. Look, there are dudes out there that their self-esteem is so damn low that if somebody tells them, hey, they put a trans person on the billboard speaker for Bud Light, they're going to be like, oh, I ain't into that gay shit, and then just throws it all away, immediately, okay?
It sounded like you're one of those people, man. It sounded like you're very, you're familiarized very much with the cadence.
I drink Corona Light and other good beer, okay? I will never drink that.
One piss water to another.
Hey,
Corona.
About Corona Light or Stella, okay?
Angry Orchard is the only good beer, man.
Slayer, come on.
I don't do beer, man. Give me some rum and Coke any day.
I like that.
You're a big pass, bro.
This is a beautiful stream. It's really educational and helps people, right? Kind of understand the real
Slayer,
you
gotta pick something better for our people, Slayer. Like this, come on, Corona.
Okay, sorry. Hey, how about you take some damn
Slayer.
Lafroy, smoky ass Lafroy, like strong ass stuff that'll knock you out, and then with that drink a bunch of potent Manhattans.
The moment you said
I did
Corona,
that
I
and
was
I
like, you
blacked out one
fucking
time.
Hispanic. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Do you
Hey,
think
my
that maybe
dad.
Bud Light's marketing was to help improve the quality of life of its drinkers, of its piss water drinkers? That seems to be like the best scenario right now. You want to
Hey,
turn
we
this
wanna-
into a positive.
It's
We are
upgraded
willing
their
to
entire
lose
lives.
money
That's true.
because we want to protect you from falling into alcoholism.
but
So every time you, a straight man, is tempted to take that beer, remember that cross-dressing dude holding that Bud Light can, he's watching you.
Yeah, just
He
think of it as
knows,
his
he knows
piss
you'll
that
turn
you're
gay the
drinking.
second you drink that.
It's so
Oh,
terrible.
man.
Drink
Let me call out
vodka instead.
Let me call out
Vodka
the super
makes
chat
you
real quick.
mad.
But
Double
if you think
Brewski.
about-
Hold on, Coach.
sorry,
Double
sorry.
Brewski, $5. These companies are showing allegiance and racking up their ESG scores before the dollar is abolished and the social credit digital dollar is enshrined. It's a damn good point, and I do find it pretty ironic that Dylan Mulvaney all at the same time got deals with multiple companies and announced them all back to back to back, which goes to tell me that this was all very much planned. Deviled Eyes Elvis for $1.99 says all roads leads to the kids. That's their goals. I agree with that. I've been saying that for a long time, and a lot of people are saying that.
But shout
You're
out to
right.
Double Brewski though for saying that. Like this isn't just a bunch of coincidences and people trying new things. Like there is a blueprint to this. We haven't seen the last of it. It's just Bud Light took their hit quick. Like it's over because it will always be known at this live. It will always be known as the gay beer.